Hello, loyal listeners. Have we got a deal for you during this cold and flu season? Or any time of year when you're around kids? Or any time of year when kids are around kids? Or there's any possible exchange of germs? Allison and I spend a lot of time in that atmosphere, don't we, Allison?
Yes, we do. And there's a lot of germs there.
Yes. So what should people do?
Diffusing On Guard in the classroom is beneficial for teachers and students. And you can get it in so many different ways. There's oils, toothpaste, hand soap, cough drops, mouthwash, and it's all natural.
Thank goodness for doTERRA oils during our germy times of day.
Yes.
Listeners of this podcast who sign up for a no-obligation wholesale account through Joy will receive a free beginner's kit of lemon, lavender, and peppermint, along with a list of 101 uses. But remember, it has to be through Joy. Allison, why does it have to be through Joy?
Because she's our sponsor.
Right. Tell them how.
Yeah. Go to our website, howpreschoolteachersdoit.com, and click on sponsor offers and follow the instructions on the site.
And now to today's topic.
Welcome to How Preschool Teachers Do It.
This is Allison Kentos. I am an early childhood educator.
And this is Cindy Tarabush. I am an early childhood consultant.
This podcast is for parents and early childhood professionals.
Let our experience and research-based knowledge become your guide.
Hi, it's Cindy, starting off the podcast again, because I said, Allison, do you want to introduce the topic? And she said, no. Thanks, Allison. I guess we all have to know our role. Oh my God. So today,
I'm good at beginning it, I'm
what?
Good at ending it. I'm good at beginning it, and I'm not good at ending it.
That's why I do it all the time. I just thought,
I'm the middleman.
I threw it to you on a prior episode, and I know I threw you for a loop, so I made the mistake of asking first this time.
Yeah, that was your mistake.
Yeah, my mistake was asking. So let's get to the topic. Allison and I today are going to talk about busting stereotypes for young children, which really can't only take place in the school setting. Busting stereotypes has to happen both at home and in school. And one of the ways that we do that in school is by giving children things to see and to play with, or to read to them that are counter to stereotypes they may encounter in the world. For example, books about different cultures, dolls depicting different cultures, or dolls depicting disability. What else, Allison? What else can you think of?
Going across gender lines.
Yes. Or did you walk away from your microphone? I couldn't hear you well. Can you repeat that?
Sorry. Going across gender lines. So depicting careers for both genders, not just, typical male firefighters or whatever it is. So go across gender lines too.
Yes.
Okay.
We want children to see those things and be able to interact with toys and dolls and pictures and books. And we do that in many, many early childhood settings do that already, right? And if you go to online or to catalogs of toys for preschools, you're going to see dolls depicting disability. They have these great dolls. There was one where it's a doll of a child with leg braces and a walker.
Yeah.
Right? Do you know that set, Allison?
I think I have that set in my classroom.
So what else is in that set? I remember the leg braces and the walker.
There's a person in a wheelchair. There's a leg braces. There's a walker,
Isn't there a hearing device?
There might be one with a hearing device. There's one that has a walking cane, and sunglasses on for blind.
Oh, yes, I did see that one. I thought it was so awesome, like the walking stick, the white walking stick. Yeah.
Yeah, and there's also one, I think, that has a seeing eye dog with it. There's another one, because I remember seeing it and be like, wow, that's really awesome that they have it.
Right, so they come in this set. They come in this set. Yeah. By the way, just because it's it's called school supply or school supplies in the name of the company, doesn't mean you can't order them. Anybody can order them. to have those sorts of dolls, not only in school, but also in homes, would be so impactful to young children.
Right.
It would be great if your children were playing with dolls depicting disabilities at home too. It would be great if your children were playing with toys that depicted different cultures, different ethnicities and races at home as well as in school. When they have these things at home, then home becomes an example of a place that also believes in acceptance, tolerance, and love of all people.
Right.
So
It
yeah,
shows them...
it shouldn't only be like people of that culture playing with dolls of that culture.
Right. It shows them what the real world is, and that doesn't stop at school. It's everywhere.
Right. You should have books, not only about your culture and your holidays, but books about other people's too.
Yes.
That would be wonderful for home.
Yeah.
And it's true, you may not understand so much about other people's celebrations or holidays. Certainly, if you have friends from other cultures, you should bring in books about those cultures, and maybe your friends can talk to the children about their culture.
Right. And just because you don't know a lot about the culture doesn't mean you can't learn together with your child about it.
Right.
I think, and especially if you have friends that celebrate something differently than you do, you should learn about their culture because they're part of your life.
Isn't it so important for us to all be learning about each other? In this world where I think people tend to acknowledge the fact that we're living in kind of an unkind era.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, we are.
This era that we're living in is sort of unforgiving and unkind. And I think we can do better with the young children. What's going to change the world and make it a better place? The children are, as they grow up. As they grow up. Yeah. And they need to be exposed to things in a more open, wide, and accepting way. And one way to do that are the visuals. In order for an early learner to think about any prejudices or stereotypes they may have been exposed to, they need to see something that is the opposite. Haven't you been in the situation, Allison, where families will say to you, something like, oh my goodness, the things that his grandfather says in front of him, I could just die. Right?
Yeah.
Or I feel so bad because there's a great uncle or aunt who says these things in front of my child and I just don't even want to expose my child. Well, there's a way you can counter that. Those prejudices and those biases. You can counter that by actually giving the child books and pictures and toys depicting the opposite of this stereotype.
Yes.
And for some reason, we've relegated doing that just to the school setting.
Right.
Why do you think, Allison, why do you think families tend to shy away from giving their child a doll from that is sort of indicative of a different race, for example?
I'm not sure. I think sometimes that the adults think that that's what the kids want, is to see someone like them. But
well, yes, I think they do want
they do.
What's that doll? The one that has proven that, the American doll, where they can get one that looks like them. They love that, right? It's proven it. It's proven they want something that looks like them, but not everything has to look like them.
Not everything should be like that. Yeah, you need like a balance of stuff that looks like them so that they realize that they belong, and then also things that are different than them so they realize that other people belong.
Yeah. When you're sitting with a child who has dolls and those dolls are representative of the real world, that's what teaches them about positive socialization.
Yeah.
And I think if we feel, and I'm going to include you and I in it, Allison, if we feel if we were buying a toy for a child and we feel uncomfortable buying a toy that depicts a different culture or race or whatever, then we need to think about our own prejudices and our own biases. And as we have said many times on this podcast, we all have bias. Yeah. There's not one of us that escapes childhood without bias. But if you know that, if you know I'm reacting this way because of what was told to me, you can realize that maybe that isn't the best thing to do with the young children of today.
Right. And it's so different than it was when we were kids. Like when we were kids, there weren't these options, I don't feel. Like there was, if you wanted a Barbie doll, it came in 2 races and that was it.
If you
But
wanted,
now I feel
when
like
I was a kid, if you wanted a Barbie doll, it came in, it came in like blonde, really fair-skinned
Yes.
Barbie and Malibu Barbie with a tan. There wasn't even
tan.
another option when I was
And-
a kid.
Well, yeah, and then when I was a kid, eventually, and it wasn't even when during my entire childhood, but eventually they came with like an African American Barbie.
Right.
But those were your 2 options. So if you were of a different culture, there was no option. You had these 2 to choose from, and that was it. Now I feel like there's so much out there, that why aren't you providing it for your child?
I think it would be great that there's so much out there. There's even things like, if we're going to talk about something like a Barbie doll, even something like Barbie with a career is out there.
Yes, which did not exist when I was a kid. Okay.
Right?
Like I think maybe she had one, I mean, that just didn't exist. They have, I think, Barbie dolls that are in wheelchairs now too. I think there's just so much more. Like there weren't those options when we were kids.
And we also didn't have, when we were kids, we didn't have books about different cultures. There's just some great books about all different cultures from all over the world. Many preschool classrooms have them so that we can learn about people from all over the world. And especially when we're in, neighborhoods that are very diverse, they can learn about the people in their immediate neighborhood, which is great. Or they can learn about people from around the world. But again, for some reason, that's been sort of designated as something that happens at school rather than home.
Right.
But it really needs to be both. I think if you're a parent who believes in teaching your child about love and acceptance, then you need to take a look at the toys you have and the books you have.
Yeah. Yeah.
And think about, are the toys and books in my home representing our love and acceptance of everyone, including crossing those gender roles?
Yeah.
Do you have books about female firefighters or something like that, right? Do you have male nurses represented?
Right. Yeah. Do you have a book where the father is the sole parent?
Correct.
Not just the mom doing, like, I think it's so important because as they grow up, they could be those people.
Yes, they can.
It might be them, or their friends might be them, and they need to learn to accept that. And that it's all part of our world. It's what makes our world go around.
And these books, by the way, the books that are available today you name the topic and it's out there for young children.
It's there.
Written in a way that's very developmentally appropriate. So I'm in the position sometimes where I'm reading the portfolios of people trying to get a particular credential in early childhood. And as part of their portfolio, they have to put together a bibliography of books depicting all this that they might read to children. I am continually amazed with the topics they find for young children that are really good books. That talk about all these different sort of social groups,
Right. Yeah. It's amazing what's out there.
It is incredible. If you're thinking, I don't even know where to find these books, go right to the internet. They're there.
Yeah, they're there. Also, I think when you are at home with your child, think about your language sometimes. Are you saying firefighter rather than fireman? Are you saying mail carrier rather than mailman? You know what I mean? Like those kind of little itty bitty things could make a really big difference.
Yeah, it can.
So think about your language too, to make sure it includes everyone.
Stereotype busting and myth busting about other people. It has to happen consistently and everywhere.
Yeah.
I would venture a guess that the majority of people, even in these times which seem so unkind, that the majority of people really do consider themselves people who accept other people. I mean, there are definitely fringe groups who don't, but most people, I think, would say, I want to raise my children to know that acceptance and tolerance is a good thing.
Yeah.
And really there's only one way to do that, and that's to actively do it. That doesn't happen passively.
Right.
Right. So here's what I think. Classroom teachers certainly should be looking around their classrooms to see if the materials you have bust stereotypes, because that would be great. And if they don't, you need to add some things to your classrooms, like that set that Allison has about disabilities, for example.
Yeah. Yeah.
Pictures and books and all sorts of things. As a family member of a young child, you need to do the same. You need to look around your stuff and think, is the stuff I have in my home representative of the real world and the values that I'm trying to teach my child? Because if it's not, you need to do a little shopping and a little digging and a little Googling maybe.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
Right.
I hope we've given you all food for thought.
Yeah, I think we have.
Okay, good. If nothing else, Allison and I are going to be looking at all our relatives' toys. We're taking this information. We're going to be like, hey, we did an episode about that. You need to add some stuff. So we hope that you will share this episode with anyone who has young children in their home for them to think about. Or just widely share it on social media so that people can think about the fact that, there's so many memes on social media now that talk about how children aren't born with hate, they learn it. Children also learn love and acceptance. So let's help them head in that direction with the things that we surround them with.
Yeah.
Share the episode. What else do we want them to do, Allison?
Go on our website. Check out our website.
Right. HowPreschoolTeachersDoIt.com.
TeachersDoIt.com. Subscribe.
Mm-hmm. Give us
Rate.
those 5 stars that help to push us
stars.
ahead in the ratings on all the podcast apps.
Yeah.
Makes us easier to find.
Yes. What else do we have going
Also
on?
combats the people who are like, nah, you're getting 3 stars. So go on.
Yeah.
Help us combat that.
Yeah.
It's so painful. And do feel free to contact us through our website. People do all the time, by the way, and it thrills us. And we would love to hear from you and answer your questions. It takes us sometimes about 24 hours or so to get back to people, but we make every effort to respond to everyone who writes to us. It means so much to us to be able to help.
I get super excited when people write to us.
Me too.
I just love it. I love interacting with people. Yeah. I
do too. And we get so excited, Allison and I. There are some communities out there that we didn't even realize we were reaching. And the one that comes to mind are homeschoolers.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
We heard from some homeschoolers. And
homeschoolers.
Yeah. I didn't even think, I
didn't think of that either. Yeah.
Right. I come from a school background.
Right.
Like as a teacher. And I didn't even think about the fact that this could be so helpful to those who homeschool. So thank you, homeschoolers. Hey, we see you out there. Thanks for listening.
Yeah.
And just know that you can also reach us through our website. This is Cindy speaking. I have a website, helpingkidsachieve.com, where my blog is, and you can connect to me on social media. My son, who is a graphic artist, just set me up with a new Instagram. By the time this airs, it won't be so new. So there'll be stuff up there. So you can find me at Instagram, what is it called? My name on Instagram? I don't even know.
Your username?
It's my full name. I don't know. It's my full name, Cindy, Cindy, Terebush, Terebush. That's my Instagram thingy. So find me. We were telling my son to put quotes from the podcast on there, so you might see some.